It makes me miss the show. Hello, everybody watching at home. My name is Mike Bjorkman. I am the broker owner of, what do we call this, HomeSmart? Offices in Northridge and Valencia, California, just north of Los Angeles. Thank you for tuning in across the country. We appreciate. We had a fantastic speaker today. You guys know normally I talk a little bit about real estate by myself and then invite the guest. But today, the guest is going to help me with this because a couple weeks ago we talked a lot about customer service. Her name is Rachel Cosgrove. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
She owns the gym I go to called Results Fitness. And before I have her speak about anything, I want to tell you some of the things I recognize. As we're in a customer relationship-based business, this gym is unlike any other. When you go to it, they treat you way different. And they have amazing multiple streams of income coming out of this gym. They have amazing scheduling. Their training and their employees have a culture that you don't see anywhere else, and I've really grown to appreciate that. So when I asked her to come in, you know, since we haven't had somebody come in and talk about exercise yet, I wanted her to do that, but first I wanted to grill you a little bit about some of your practices at the gym. So we have a bio on her, and if you saw the email this morning, it's like 4 pages long. This is probably one of the most accomplished ladies I've ever met, and we are very honored to have her here today. So Rachel, can you tell the group and the people watching at home that don't know who the heck you are a little bit about yourself so they know they should listen and respect what you say?
Sure. First of all, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for being here. We opened our gym, it's actually going on 17 years now. So 17 years ago, my husband and I were personal trainers, and we were passionate about helping people, changing lives, and knew absolutely nothing about running a business. And so thank you. That's such a compliment to have someone like you notice all of what we've over the years learned about business and how to really create our whole mission is to change the way fitness is done. And so over those 17 years, we've really put what we are trying to create, which is a culture, a place where we were really sick and tired of the these standards in our industry, and frustrated with really, if you went to a gym, you didn't get good customer service. Most people were intimidated. Most people didn't know what to do. Usually they would, most gyms sign you up and hope to charge your card and hope that they're not going to see you again, right? Because they're like, gosh, if everybody actually shows up, I can't actually service everybody. And so, over those years, my husband and I have built our gym up. We now have about 300 members. Started with just the two of us with about 20 members 17 years ago, and now we have about 300 members. And then we started our second company, which is called Results Fitness University, where we do business coaching and consulting for personal trainers. So we help them to open their gyms. And so we do a lot of probably sales, marketing, things that you guys have probably been talking about. And over that time, we've worked with companies like Nike. I was named 2012 IDEA Personal Trainer of the Year. We have been named one of the best gyms in the United States by Men's Health Magazine 3 years in a row. And we were named one of the best gyms by Women's Health Magazine as well. So we're, over those years, we were also featured on BBC World for our programming philosophies. And so really, what we stand for is changing the way fitness is done, and really, we're always pushing to lead the industry and to really provide something that's different and something that's, really what we felt was absolutely needed, especially when we first opened 17 years ago. So that's who we are, Results Fitness, and we're right here local. I actually grew up here. They were asking me. I grew up. I'm a Santa Claritian. So.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I mean, she barely touched the surface. I mean, total speaks in front of thousands of people, author of great books, all kinds of neat stuff. So let's jump right in, because I know this hour goes like that. A couple things that I noticed that I have to point out at your gym, things that anybody in business for themselves needs to do. I want to start out with branding. You obviously built the gym. How important is branding to you? And can you give some advice on branding, maybe some techniques that you use with that? Start.
Sure. Number one, I would say for us was when we really nailed down our core values. We do study other industries, other businesses, other companies. I've gone out to Zappos and studied what they do there. As you guys probably have heard, Zappos is known for their culture. They're known for their customer service. And so I wanted to find out, how did they create that? And so I went out, I did their 3-day mentorship, paid to do that, and really took everything I could from that. We came back and really nailed down our core values, which is really, it sounds like a soft, cushy topic, and it's like, oh, yeah, whatever, core values. But I'm telling you, if you have not really, truly thought about for your business, what do you stand for? What are your core values? Who are you? It's so powerful. And when I did this, I did it as a team with our team. We currently have 22 employees. And so I brought them all into a meeting, and I said, hey, guys, here's some of the things I think we stand for. What do you guys think? And all of these core values were short, actionable, and they could all remember them. And so I'm sure around the gym you may even hear, our team really own these core values, and it's really who we are. And so it's things like bring your best, keep leading, exceed expectations. And so these are all, we have 11 core values, and they really are, they guide how our team behave and really how our culture is when you come into our gym. And so I would
What's
say
the book that Tony wrote?
he wrote Delivering Happiness.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's what I was looking at my phone. I have it on my phone again. So write that down. Delivering Happiness is an unbelievable book on the history of Zappos and how they started from nothing and grew it to one of the biggest companies in the world, and how they work with their culture, their customer service, and it really implants a lot of thoughts in your mind on how people want to be treated. So that's a really good book.
Really, that,
Sorry,
sorry,
I forgot that name of that.
Yeah, it is. It's a great book. We give that book to all of our coaching members when they join our business coaching. So
very cool.
It's a good book.
All right.
Recommend it.
So things like T-shirts and there's bottles. There's all kinds of.
So then we get to the branding. I know the question was on branding, and that's why it kind of starts with that backbone of the core values, because that's who you are. But then because everything you're putting out, you want to really make sure you're going to portray what you want to get across. And so the other piece of that, I would say, is really making sure you know who your target market is. So in as realtors, I'm sure you guys each have a target market. You know exactly who you're talking to, whether it's people for a certain demographic, whether it's families. I'm sure out here that's probably a large demographic. But you should pick one demographic, even if it's the whole, if you're for everybody, you're for nobody. And so really decide who you're for, and really start to all of your, we call them all of your touch points. You want to kind of go through all of your touch points from your, thinking about your website, thinking about the emails you send out, thinking about the direct mail pieces you send out, thinking about the T-shirts you give out. Do they all resonate with your target market? And then the other piece of it is really, I think these days, the more human you are, the better. The more human companies, I think, really win. I think as we share our stories and as we, you really do. I know you do a great job of this online, and really getting across who you are, and people feel like they know you. Even though they may not know you, but they feel like they know you. And that's the secret is letting them in enough that they feel like they know, like, and trust you. And I know I've heard you talk about that. Because yes, people want to do business with you. Only want to do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And so the more you can really share. But we're also in our industry, we're very, very big on boundaries. We are. Our industry is not, which is why we're one of our core values is to be professional. And so it is finding that balance of having that professional line, because because for us so many personal trainers are portrayed as the dumb jock on TV with the cut off T-shirt and sleeping with their clients, or it's just really
realtors just do it with a tie on.
So we've been because our mission is really to change the way fitness is done. We do everything we can to really keep that boundary, to set that professional. That we are a healthcare professional. We're here to take care of your health, and we want to be seen differently. We want to be seen as professionals. And so whatever your mission is, whatever your vision is for what you want to create, for what you want people to see, and like you said, I know you have a mission and a vision that you guys are all a part of, that you're really changing the way realty's done. And so that's part of it, is that branding. It's kind of multiple pieces, but yeah, it's really getting a mix of your core values, what you stand for, who your target market is, making sure you're speaking to them, and then really bringing in some of who you are, your story, and really your why. There's another great book, Simon Sinek, Start With Why, if you guys have heard of that book. And that is an excellent book if you're really trying to figure out your brand, your who you are and what you stand for. Check that book out.
So she mentioned two things that I have to cover, and I want you to take a minute. When she contacts her list, how many people are on your list, do you know?
On our gym list?
Your list at your email list.
So we have an email list for the gym, and we have an email list for our coaching, so we have two different target markets, because we have personal trainers and we have our gym members, right? So the gym members, we have I think it's about 8,000 on there.
Okay, so 8,000, that's a pretty good database, right? So her email originally went to my spam, and I would go through my Say Later box and pull it out. So for somebody to send me an email that I pull out of spam, that's just a keep in touch, could possibly be sales, it has to be written very high quality. Now when she says be human, that's the part I wanted to talk about right now. She's very human. there's always a subject line that you have to open it because you're like, oh my God, what is this going to be? And it's so good. And she always tells a story or somebody else's story, and it makes you read. It's not like, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? It's an actual story, and then it leads into the point she's trying to get across. But it's very engaging, and you could tell a human wrote it. They didn't go to some gym convention and buy, like a letter writing campaign that you upload into your CRM. She actually writes them. Now, I also wanted to talk about
one of the jobs that I don't know if I'll ever give up at my gym is that email, because I feel like it's my conversation with our clients.
Yeah, and when does it go out? Every 2 weeks, maybe?
Every week.
Every week?
Every week I send it out, and I usually get up early in the morning and have my coffee, and I'm speaking to our clients. And it's funny because so many clients that when I walk in the gym, when my email goes out that morning, I'll walk in and they'll be like, thanks so much for sending me that email. And a lot of times they think I sent it directly to, because I usually use, you guys know you can use like first name, so they think that I actually, sent them an email, which is cool because it's that personal that they feel that way.
People aren't always in these high-tech industries like we are, and they don't know about CRMs and stuff, and they will legitimately think it went just to them.
Right. Yeah.
They don't know how you can get that. So, but the point I'm trying to make is it is human. It is coming across as a conversation. The other thing you talked about is being human, and I wanted to tell a short story about being human, and this goes directly to our vendors. Now, Rachel's mother is highly involved in the real estate community. We don't need to get into it now, but she chose us as her realtors. And Rachel, we had a couple conversations. Can you touch on some of the points on why that Tammy and I might have been your mom's realtor?
Oh, I know my mom loves Tammy. I mean, her and Tammy have, they've bonded. It's very, very trusting relationship, I think, and that was, and you guys went above and beyond. It was really a situation where it was, my grandmother had passed away, and so we had to sell my grandmother's house. So it was really a personal situation where, we really were going through trying to figure out how we were going to do this and what we were going to do. And so, Tammy really came in and saved the day, basically. And, we were in awe of what you guys did for, to help us out with getting the house sold. And it literally, we got it sold pretty quickly, thank goodness.
Yeah, it was the relationships that Tammy had built with
our I'll tell you one thing she used to do. She used to always bring my mom Starbucks. And my mom, just knew, she knew her Starbucks drink, and so she would, always bring, my mom always would say that, oh, she's so nice, she always brings me that, and, they had built this friendship, and so, and so now, yes, I mean, that's absolutely.
So if you read that book, Delivering Happiness, it's little things like that.
Yeah.
So if we could take a client that knows every single real estate agent in town, how are we able to get them? That's the kind of point I'm trying to get across. Now I want to talk about one mailing piece in particular that I came to you on my, that was freaking awesome, that you did a couple weeks ago, and it was thick. You remember what that was?
Yeah.
Can you explain to them what that was?
So every year we do a 100 workout challenge, which is we challenge our members to work out 100 times between July and December, so basically the second half of the year. So the idea being that most people are all motivated in January, which is fantastic, but let's actually stay motivated this last half of the year and finish strong. So 100 workouts works out to about 4 workouts a week, so it's completely doable. And so I actually hand wrote a letter, but I hand wrote it on like a legal pad, and then I photocopied it in color so that it looked as if I had actually handwritten each one, and it was 4 pages long. And
was it the yellow legal pad?
Yellow legal pad, so that way it looked like you were getting a yellow legal pad with blue, handwriting. And I folded it up, and and you guys got them in the mail, and it was these thick, and ideally, handwritten on the envelope too, because more people will open that. And so it was, you're always just looking for ways to stand out, especially I think direct mail works now because most people don't do it. Most people are online. Most people are doing social media, which works too. But I think you have to have, like we always talk about, a whole wheel of marketing. Don't think you just have a social media campaign and now you're done. My marketing is happening. Instead, think about how can I hit my target market in multiple ways. So, using your database to reach out through direct mail, reach out through email, reach out through, social media, so that way, wherever they're at, they're always getting, you're in front of them. And so that way you're top of mind. We always talk about top of mind awareness, that, you're the first one that comes to mind when they need a realtor. So it's always the right, so it's, Dan, if you guys heard of Dan Kennedy, he talks about the right message to the right market at the right moment. And so you got to make sure you have the right message. So whatever messaging you're putting out to that target market, to the right market, and then that moment, we don't know when that is, right? Especially for realtors, you guys don't know when is that moment when they're going to have the conversation that they decide to sell the house, or, and so you guys, figuring out when that moment is, if we stay in front of them all the time, like, with Tammy, the moment came when we needed a realtor, and she was the first choice, absolutely. So, that's part of that is, how do we get them to open the mail, and how do we get them to read the mail? And so that was really one of those strategies to do that.
I've never been so excited to receive a piece of mail. I mean, I get a lot of creative stuff being in the info marketing industry, but it was in a normal envelope. It was all fat, and you could push it, and you felt, what is in there?
Yeah.
And it was just such a trip to go. 5 pages of handwritten, like, it was just crazy to me. I was like, that's so awesome. So, and it sticks in my head every day. And I mean, you guys know me. It takes a lot to have something stick in my head. So creative ways of doing this. Now, I have to point out something right now. How many hours a day do I tell you to work on self-help? 1 hour a day, right? Do you recommend the same?
Absolutely.
Now,
yeah.
Obviously, you just named 3 books in the first 5 minutes. Do you believe in self-improvement?
Absolutely, yeah. That's continuing education has been one of our secrets, really, to our, the success we've had at the gym and with our businesses. And every single day I read. I wake up in the morning, I read. Every day I read, and every day I write. And if I'm writing, a lot of times I'm writing an email to my people, but I write every day, because I think now, if you're a business owner and if you're, you have to market, we have to write. We have to learn to write. And so the only way to get better at writing, and I asked, we're good friends with one of the editors at Men's Health Magazine, and we had asked him for advice on how do you get better as a writer, and he said, write. That's the first thing to do, is to start writing. And it's so true. And, writing like you speak, and really thinking of someone that you're talking to when you're writing. Your writing will come across so much better, and that's what I'm always doing is, I'm thinking of Mike when I'm writing my email in the morning.
Thanks. Okay, so that's important, right? If you got somebody very successful in front of you, we got to point out these little things, even though I'm going off topic a little bit. Maybe one of the last things I want to talk about is when I'm at your gym, I see the trainers. They're in the corner. They have to. They don't have a choice. It's their time to sit down and write their handwritten note cards. Talk to us about that and the importance of that and the success from that.
So we have handwritten note cards, and I actually got this idea from Zappos. They, at all of their call stations, have note cards that if you guys have ever, does anyone shop at Zappos? It's like, yeah, when you get your little happy box that shows up, right, at your, it's the best. And so they have note cards that if they have a fun conversation with somebody on the phone, they end up, just quickly jotting, like, I hope I hope your wedding is great, or whatever it might be, something personal that maybe they talk to the, the customer about. And so then you get this handwritten card in the mail. So I took that, I stole it. We steal a lot of ideas. Like we get we have a whole swipe file. Like he was talking about that mailing, like stuff like that. If it shows up in my mailbox, I put it in my swipe file to like go through and go, let's find another idea to market from. So, so basically, with the cards, we brought them back and said, listen, guys, we have these cool cards that say, have our logo on them that say, we think you rock. And so we put them at the front. There's stamps, and we make it, actually it's not, it's mandatory that you write cards, but it's part of our core values. It's part of exceeding expectations. So that's one of our core values. And if, we're going to exceed expectations, we're going to go above and beyond. And so if we hear something that that comes up for our clients, maybe they had a great workout, maybe something, maybe they got their first push-up, or they got their first chin-up, or maybe their kid just graduated from college, whatever it might be, something that happened in our client's life, we take a moment to write a card real quick. It takes a second. It doesn't take long at all. Everything's there ready to go, so they just stick it in an envelope, and it's literally in the mail that day. And that's always a wow factor for our members, because no other gym does that. No other gym cares enough to really listen to their members and really look for those moments to have that chance to recognize them. And by the way, most people don't feel like they're recognized enough. I think everybody, it's like that's something that across the board, employees and your customers, most people don't feel like they get recognized enough. And recognition is one of the, really on the hierarchy of human needs, it's something that we all need. And so if you can provide that for your members, the reason they stay with you, they stay one of your customers, is not because you sold the house, it's because you've actually provided more in their bigger picture of what they need. So just little things like that.
And I know it's a big deal because I'm a fly on the wall in there, and almost every morning I see a member come into the gym with the card in their hand and go hug their trainer, and it's very cool to watch. It's very emotional, and then I hear them talking about it throughout the entire time they're working out. So to create that kind of that level I don't know, the relationship. And what she did say, it's a very professional atmosphere too, which is hard to have that boundary of professionalism and not go too far over and still have that relationship that's necessary to move forward with these people. It's just a really neat culture there. You know, they do things like every week there's a message and the employees get to talk about how they want to be involved. It's just a really neat culture. So based on customer service, I so salute you, on how you've done that, because we could all learn a lesson from this gym. And
I can switch to a different talk if you want me to do my culture talk.
no, that's totally fine. What else was I going to ask you? I should have written it down. I go, how would I ever forget all this stuff?
I love this stuff. I love talking about, you know, business and culture.
Well, it's important, you know, and we're in sales and we need to know. And it's what we do is in our industry, we follow other agents. So now you have 1,000 people doing the same thing, and it's so boring.
Just like the fitness industry. And,
right. So when you think outside of the box and deliver things
and,
and deliver certain culture, and it gives you an going-eye-opener. So as my business increased just from watching some of the things you did, I thought, hey, you know, I should probably point this out to the rest of the world that's watching. We're going to move on in just a second. Do you have any questions about customer service or lists or anything that she might do to reach out and brand their businesses?
Any questions?
Well, I have a quick question. When you track your sources of new clients, which I'm sure you do.
We sure do.
Are you noticing a pretty large chunk of that is word of mouth as opposed to advertising?
Absolutely. Referrals are always going to be our number one. That's, you know, every month. Yeah, referrals are number one. And so then, you know, finding a way to increase referrals is one of the things that we always are looking to do. And so one way we do that is when we have special clients like Mike, we make sure that he is stocked with VIP cards so that if he knows anybody that he, you know, sees that would be a good person to bring into the gym, he has a VIP
Well, let's just talk about it. We should. So I'll grab them.
So finding, you know, making sure that you've given your clients tools to refer you people. And that's, you know, part of...
There's only a few things I keep in my briefcase, right? Now, these are the VIP cards. Now, you pull it out. It says VIP membership, right? And it's good for a 30-day membership. This thing creates a lot of value. And these are the types of things that we as agents need. Our own VIP cards. What kind of VIP concierge program could you come up with? What could you put in there? These aren't expensive, but they're kind of neat. And you know, if you know me, I don't just keep junk in my briefcase. That briefcase is heavy enough. So I always have a couple of these things on hand.
And I didn't warn him I was going to bring those up, so thank you for having those ready to go.
No, well, yeah, I carry them. This is they know I don't lie and prepare for these like all sneaky leaky.
Right.
You know, I thought we'd be 20 minutes deep into why you guys need to work out by now, but
we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. So.
It's funny though, well, because so I was supposed to speak at this a few weeks ago, but I got an invitation to go to Club 33, which you had, you know, told me you'd gone to, and so he was like, it's not worth it. And so my lessons. So when you say like always look for lessons outside of your industry, right? So I wanted to go more to see what lessons I was going to learn, to see like how they did this. And you guys have heard of Club 33? It's the exclusive club at Disneyland that, you know, only 500 people are on the list, and it's $30,000 a year to go, and, you know, there's a door that's secret and all of this. And so, you know, you get in, and it's really no big deal. And so my whole lesson from it was exclusivity. Like people, the demand for this place, that people are paying that kind of money, that when I mentioned it to anybody who was a Disney fan, they like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're going to Club 33, that's amazing. And you know, like it's truly they've created that demand through the exclusivity. And so I've started, like that's part of the VIP, right? Like how do you make it feel like, and put up that red velvet rope, yeah, to really, you know, treat your customers, you know, treat your clients like VIPs, and make it very exclusive, and make it, you know, like, hey, this is a group, a club. I mean, I don't know how it would, you know, you guys, I'm sure, could come up with some ideas, but that exclusivity is truly how they have that. Because you go in and you're like, and
it's ridiculous.
It's an expensive restaurant.
You walk
and
out with
a
$1,000 bill going, what just happened?
And I'm like,
I got Disney'd again.
Yeah.
I hate that place, and I've been there many times.
And it's but it's the exclusivity that there's this secret door that, you know, only certain people can go, and that, you know, you have to be on a list and you have to know somebody. And so anyway, just something to think about with, you know, the VIP idea is that was a recent lesson I had, that, you know, really looking for how can we even create that exclusivity even more, you know, at our gym to really, you know, make our clients feel special, but then also let people know when they join, hey, we don't take everybody, you know, like we're not for everybody, and that's okay, you know, and that's true of you as a realtor too. You know, it's okay to say no if you're not right for somebody, because then you're going to be, it's like if you repel somebody, you're attracting somebody, right? So it's okay to repel if you're putting out certain messages and trying to, you know, bring in a certain clientele, then you might actually be turning off, right, somebody who you know, would have done business with you, and that's okay because, you know, you're getting the people who you are for, you know. So just something to think about, another, you know, lesson I had recently.
Could we possibly raffle a couple of these off?
Absolutely.
You guys want to pass your business cards this way to Julie? It's 30-day membership at a pretty cool gym.
Yeah.
I'll leave these here. You can do what you want with those after.
Sure. We can do a quick so we got like 10 minutes?
Yeah. There's water behind you. I'm going to step off this real quick. All right. I know this is always chaos when we do the card. You guys have to be here at the end to win this.
Oh, sure. There you go. And if you guys are, if you do want to jump on our email list, it's results-fitness.com, and if you just fill in the name and email on there, then you'll get my weekly emails directly to you if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah,
so
and you should be interested. So basically, you copy and paste it and put your name on it and send to your clients. Remember the swipe file? This is good for the swipe file. For reals. Okay, so there's water behind you.
Thank you.
I'm going to let you guys learn a little bit about exercise because Lord knows we get all you learn a little bit from the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I'll get out of here.
Okay, so now I'm going to switch my gears from business owner to coach, which is how I started, is as a coach. You know, that's really personal training and helping people with their fitness, their health, and so, you know, this is what I came to talk about today. But I love talking about all the business and the culture because that's where we realize we can change more lives, you know, if we can reach the people that we want to reach. And so that's, you know, really for us at this point what our focus is. So it's really fun to talk to you guys about all of that fun stuff. So let's get into this. First thing, I hope some of this information will change your life. I hope that I'm going to, you know, give you, you're looking for one idea. Whenever I go to a seminar, whenever I go to a conference, you know, you guys are taking the time out of your day. I know you guys are all very busy. You guys have a lot to do, and you're here. So I want you to look for one idea. You know, look for one idea that's going to change your life. One little change you can make each day that, you know, might turn things around for you. That's what you're looking for. So I know that you're on information overload. There's like this diet book, that guru, this celebrity, that TV show. I mean, you know, we're getting bombarded. I mean, completely. I mean, we can't even log onto our phones without getting some ad going across our, you know, Facebook thing, or like you're just constantly getting hit with all different things. Maybe you have a friend that did a, you know, some juice fast or something, and they're, you know, they look great, and you're like, well, maybe I should do that. I don't know, you know, right? And then you start getting all confused because you're kind of doing a little bit of everything, and you don't really know which ones, if anything's working, and then it's not working, so then you're like, screw it, let me just do nothing, right? So that's, I know, it can be confusing, and that's really why I'm here, is to help you to figure out what works. And, you know, really, what does work, what is the bottom line? So why should you listen to me? I am a real-world practitioner. We have been open 17 years. We track every single workout that happens at Results Fitness. Every single rep that Mike has done, we know how much weight he lifted. We know how fast he lifted it. We know exactly, we know what look he had on his face. We know the noise he made. But we write down everything. We literally track everything. We're kind of nerds like that. We track all of their results as well. So we do have an in-body that we track, you know, if their goal is body composition, then we do track if they've lost body composition, if it's working. And so really for us, we consider our gym our laboratory. And so my husband and I love to, you know, it's our research and development. It's where, you know, if there is something new that we want to try out, we try it out first with all of us as a team, first my husband and I, and then we try it out with our team, you know, and then we're like, yeah, this is working. This is, you know, we actually have a new pre-workout little drink thing that we're going to start playing with, and if we see that that works, you know, then we start to roll it out to our clients. Usually select clients at first, our VIPs, you know, exclusivity, and then pretty soon, you know, it becomes a part of what we offer at the gym because we found that it works. So every single thing that you see at our gym is because, like, you know, for us as a personal trainer, you know, we've had companies that have started to change their formula or things like that, and I'm like, I can't carry this anymore, and they're like, well, why not? It doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter. It's still good, you know. People are eating, like, there was one company that they had these protein cookies that they started selling, and I was like, I can't carry this because these are cookies. And if I have no problem with my clients having a cookie, but I'm not going to trick them that this is a health food and sell it to them, right? And so, you know, they were like, well, what's your problem? Like, you know, most of your clients are eating junk food anyway. Why don't you just sell them junk food? And I'm like, no, I can't. You know, that's my integrity, right? And so that's where we come from, is really, I know that my clients are going to walk out and probably look and see what protein bar wrappers are in my car. And I'm the one that, I work out there, I drink our shakes, I do what, everything that we practice, we preach, we practice. And so that's really who we are. We're looking to get the best results possible in the least amount of time. I know you guys are all busy, so that's what it's about, is fast results in the least amount of time. Scientific evidence. We read science. My husband's actually a huge science nerd. He finds it fun to go on, and look up all of the latest research, and that's one of his. He'll send out an email to our team. You can ask our team that they'll get an email. Check out this research study on, how we can, do this or do that. And so this is something that we always include as part of our, development of what I'm about to teach you. Is we do absolutely read the scientific research, and I'm going to share some of that scientific research with you. I also have 2 best-selling books. The Female Body Breakthrough was published in 2009 and dropped 2 sizes in 2013. And those both are based on what we do at Results Fitness. Consultant to Nike, Gatorade, Livestrong, Women's Health, and Men's Health. I already did a little bit of my bio, so this is a little bit more about me. So you guys heard of this show, The Biggest Loser? Yeah? Of course. Everybody's heard of The Biggest Loser, right? And do you guys know recently there was a lot of press that came out about The Biggest Loser, about how all of the contestants gained the weight back? Right? Did you guys hear about that? Yeah. So you guys recognize this guy? He was one of the contestants on The Biggest Loser. He's actually one of the only contestants that has maintained his weight loss. And actually now it's probably been at least, he was on one of the very first seasons. So he's actually maintained his weight loss. He's now a fitness coach. And he lost 185 pounds in 9 months. So that was in 2005. Okay, so we're 11 years later. Okay, he's still maintained his weight loss. He actually was at one of our seminars. So he came out, and it was actually here in Valencia, and worked with us to learn, because he's setting up his own fitness coaching business. So you can see he's kept his weight off. He's one of the only ones who has kept his weight off. And his secret, I immediately started to seek out actual bona fide experts in the fitness industry, and I came across Alan and Rachel Cosgrove. Their books, articles, scientific reviews, and training methods have been the foundation for my base of knowledge. I find myself returning to their teachings and writings often. Every trainer in America should read The Hierarchy of Fat Loss whenever a client asks, how can I lose weight, like on The Biggest Loser. So the Hierarchy of Fat Loss is what I'm going to show you guys today. That's really the secret of, because that's what we're looking for. We're not any of us can buckle down and do a hardcore, 30-day, right, drop a bunch of weight. But the key is we want to be able to maintain this over 11 years, over a lifetime, right? So that's really what this is about. So thanks to him. So this is real quick. I'm just going to, because this is like a 45-minute hour talk, so I'm going to totally just plow through this if you guys are okay with that. I'm going to try and hit you with a fire hose if that's all right. So over the years, you guys can see 1990, 91. As this is getting darker, this is obesity. Okay, this is obesity in the United States. So 92, we're getting darker. You see that blue color? Okay, see the dark blue color? 15 to 19%. Okay, this is the percentage of people who are obese in these states. Okay, so now as we get even darker, okay, we're at 1994. So you guys see it's starting to take over, right? So keeps going. It's coming over towards us. We got, and there's California, okay? And now we got a new color, okay? So now we have actually introduced a whole new color. Now we're at 20 to 24% obesity. So now we're in 1998, okay? So every year, the percentage of people who are struggling with obesity has increased, okay? 1999. And then, once again, we have to introduce a new color in 2001, because now there is a state, and I'm not good at geography. If you guys, anybody's good at geography, you can tell me what state that is. But what is that?
Mississippi.
Okay, Mississippi. So 25 to 29% obesity, okay? And we keep going, whatever's next to Mississippi. So obviously, it's on the East Coast further. There goes Texas, okay? And then we got another color. Now Mississippi is over 30% of the population is obese, okay? And this keeps going. We're in 2006, 2007, so you guys can see the trend, obviously, is we're heading in the wrong direction. It's really scary what's happening, really, in the United States. It's really scary. 2009, 2010, so it just keeps getting worse, okay? Data from the World Health Organization in 2014, 422 million adults, or 8.5% of the population, had diabetes, compared with 108 million, so it's doubled basically since 1980, okay, from 1980 to 2014. So this is, following the obesity trend, following the diabetes trend. what I'm saying to you is what we're currently doing is not working. Okay, things are getting worse, and it's scary because people are, like you think about all of the different diets and things that have come out, right, over that time, yet it's not working. As a whole, people are getting fatter, people are getting more disease, and so it's not working. So if some of the stuff that I tell you today is maybe different from what you've heard, that's okay, because maybe we do need to do things differently, right? Because what we're currently doing isn't working, right? Let's talk about metabolism. You guys have heard of metabolism, right? Some people talk about low metabolism, high metabolism. Oh, I don't have a metabolism, right? But do we really know what is a metabolism, right? Does anybody know? Like, what is this thing, metabolism? Well, the metabolism is actually, it's all of the processes in your body. It's all of them working. What does it take for that to work? Okay, you think about calories, right? So it's energy expenditure. It's that energy expenditure of what it takes to do everything. Everything from digesting your food, everything from lifting up your bag in the morning. Like if I lie on the couch, my metabolism is basically all of those things added up. Does that make sense? So it's all of those processes added up in our body. So it's made up of three things. Okay, we have our basal metabolic rate, which is literally that if I just laid on a couch all day long, that's my basal metabolic rate. Okay, so 60 to 75% of my metabolism is going to be from just what's happening to keep me alive. My heart pumping, my lungs, everything's working, right? So that's really what's just your basal metabolic rate. Now, most of us are not going to lie on a couch all day, hopefully. So we have our activity, okay, which makes up 10 to 30% of our metabolism. So that's how active we are, and that's why living an active lifestyle is important. The more active we are, the more we're going to burn, the more calories we're going to burn. And then we have a small piece is actually pretty cool. It's the thermic effect of food. So every time we eat, it takes work for our body to process that food, right, for us to use that food. And so you actually burn calories from eating food. And certain foods, you have a higher thermic effect of food than others. Okay, and we will touch a little bit on that, on some of the nutrition, because I can't talk about exercise without talking about some nutrition. I know you guys you've already had some people talk about nutrition, so I won't hit you too hard with it, but the thermic effect of food is part of our metabolism. So that's it. We got three things making up our metabolism. Okay. This was a study in 2011, the effect of diet and exercise alone or combined on weight and body composition in overweight to obese postmenopausal women. Okay, so they had 439 obese women. The first group did diet only, okay? So they just went on a diet, which a lot of people do. They think, I'll just go on a diet, that'll work. Second group did exercise only, okay? They did not do the diet. Third group did both, diet plus exercise, okay? And then they had a control group. Well, the results, the diet only, okay, lost 8.5%. The exercise only lost 2.4%. So yes, nutrition is absolutely a huge part of this, right? But the cool part is when you add those both together, the diet plus the exercise, they actually lost 10.8%. So it's exponential, right? So instead of just the 2.4% that exercise lost or 8.5%, they actually increased that. Okay? So we want to do both, right? It's about nutrition, metabolic exercise, and resistance exercise. So those are the three components that we want to include as part of our program. In this research study, exercise training and energy expenditure following weight loss. The findings, weight loss without exercise, okay, so if we just do a diet and we don't do any exercise, it's going to lower your metabolism, okay? So that metabolism we just talked about, that's going to decrease, okay? So our basal metabolic rate is going to decrease. Adding exercise is going to prevent that decrease in metabolism. So we need to exercise, okay, as part of our fitness program. Muscle it's really cool, actually. The more research they're doing on muscle, they're starting to think of it more as an organ, as an actual organ, because it secretes enzymes. You guys see all this stuff going on. It's so cool. All this, when you contract a muscle, what's happening? Okay? When we talk about metabolism and we talk about muscle, muscle is really our fat-burning machinery. That's really our, the more muscle we have, the higher that metabolism is going to be. So that's where our number one priority needs to be when it comes to our exercise. And then we have our fat, which is our storage, right? So that's where, it's not that you're fat, it's just that you have some extra stored energy, right? That's just keeping it for later. It's just extra stored energy. That's all you need to say. I'm just, hanging on to it. So that's all it is. It's stored energy, okay? So we just need to find a way to get that stored energy out, right, to contract into the muscles, which is where those muscles, which even some of these enzymes we have, insulin secretion. We have things that are happening that are going to actually help us to burn fat, okay? So That's really the goal of our exercise program. So step one, we want to build that fat-burning machinery. Okay? We have to build muscle. Strength has got to be a priority. So if this is like our biggest thing at Results Fitness is really flipping those priorities on their head. A lot of people, when they think, okay, I'm going to start an exercise program. She said I need to exercise. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to go walk. And that's great. I commend you on your efforts to get out and do something and be active. But when you go walk, you're actually not building muscle. Walking is actually part of our daily life. So our bodies are pretty used to walking. That should be something that we do regularly. So that's actually, you're not putting a demand on your body beyond what it's used to. Okay? So if you have limited time, like I know all of you do, number one priority actually needs to be some kind of a strength training workout, okay, where we're going to build that muscle. And that's number one. Okay? So resistance training for fat loss. We want to pair exercises rather than doing traditional sets. Okay? So if you are currently going in and sitting on a machine and doing a set and then resting and then doing another set, that's actually not as effective as if you paired two different exercises. So you're going to pair one exercise with another, kind of a circuit type of workout. Okay? Include explosive exercises. Power development is one of the first things we lose as we age, and so we do want to include some kind of power development as part of our program. No sitting. If you walk into Results Fitness, you will notice there is not a single machine to sit on. We actually make you stand, and because all of the movements are functional. Okay? When we opened 17 years ago, we were the only small functional training gym there was. Now there's obviously a lot more. I know a lot more have popped up. So this is more of a more familiar concept. Is the idea of using things like kettlebells, dumbbells, free weights, pulley systems, things that are going to actually work your entire body. You're going to get more bang for your buck. Core is going to be working, legs are going to be working, and we're going to be able to burn more calories using those types of exercises. So we do keep our clients, moving full body and not sitting on a machine. So there's no seated machines in our gym. And then the basic movements. And the basic movements are squatting, lunging, pushing, pulling, bending, and twisting. And so every single one of our programs, we make sure that every single client is going to perform those movements because we want to continue to be able to do those basic movements, and we want to be able to get stronger at those basic movements as time goes on. That's what's important. So we get back to that metabolism. So that's number one, okay, that's going to increase our basal metabolic rate. Okay, so you guys see metabolism, that's the biggest part of metabolism is that basal metabolic rate. And one of the, like I always say, control the controllables. One of the ways you can control that is by adding muscle. Okay, so if you're not currently doing something to increase your muscle, that's where you're going to really increase that metabolism. And that's what's going to make you feel better. That's what's going to make you, you're even going to have more energy. You're going to, be able to be more productive. So those are the things that we want to really get out of that. We always hear this concept, right? Just move more. When it comes to cardio, it's like, well, just move more and eat less, right? That's what most people think. That's all I need to do. I just need to move more and I need to eat less, okay? Well, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. This was a study of the addition of 45 minutes of aerobic exercise at 78% max heart rate for 5 days a week, okay? So 5 days a week, 45 minutes, you're getting on that treadmill, okay? For 12 weeks, it had absolutely no effect over dieting alone. And this is where you'll see the press say, exercise doesn't work, don't do it, right? It's because they're doing steady state cardio. They're getting on a treadmill for 45 minutes, okay, for aerobic exercise, and it's not working 5 days a week. Could you imagine if I was your trainer and I made you get on a treadmill 5 days a week for 45 minutes, and at the end of 12 weeks nothing had happened? You'd not be very happy with me. This is another research. This is actually really interesting. So after 6 days, these guys performed a marathon, a full marathon, okay, every single day. 1 marathon a day for 6 days, okay? So insane amount of cardio, insane amount of aerobic activity. The average weight loss was 6.1%, okay, of these guys who did these marathons. It was called Marathon of the Sands, every day for 6 days. Of that 6.1%, 82% of that weight loss came from muscle. Okay, so 5% was muscle and 1% was fat loss. So when we think, okay, I'm just going to run or I'm just going to walk or this is going to be my exercise, you actually could be decreasing your metabolism by losing muscle. Obviously, this is at an extreme, right? This is at a huge amount, but still, it's something to take into consideration. One more study, 6-month study. We had 2 groups. Diet only, diet plus aerobic exercise. Okay, so again, there's our aerobic exercise. This time we're going to do 50 minutes. All right, 50 minutes instead of 45. Maybe this will do the trick, right? Maybe we needed that extra 5 minutes. No additional effective aerobic exercise on body composition. Their body composition did not change. Now, is this good for their heart? Yes, they are working their heart. It is cardiovascular exercise. You know, I'm not going to say that it's not a good, it's better than laying on the couch, absolutely. But all of us are limited on time. You know, that's my number one, the number one excuse I hear is I don't have time. So guess what? Probably in your program, in your schedule, I'm not going to program aerobic exercise because you don't have a lot of time. Okay? I know our clients don't have a lot of time. They have, listen, I can work out 3 days a week. Tell me what to do, and I'm going to tell you guys what to do for that. All right, one more study. 20 weeks of endurance training. This is actually the one of the really key studies on interval training. You guys have heard about interval training and how that's really the answer to starting to change your body composition. 20 weeks of endurance training versus 15 weeks of interval training. Okay, the endurance training. So this is they're on the treadmill. Their little calorie counter on the treadmill. Okay, says 28,661 calories. Okay, the interval training group, the amount of calories they burned was less than half, 13,614. Okay, so intervals means that they're working hard for a period of time and then they're recovering, and working hard for a period of time and recovering. So their actual work done during the exercise session was actually less than half, okay, than the endurance group. But when they tested their body fat, okay, the interval training group actually lost 9 times more fat than the endurance group. So they did less, yet they lost 9 times more fat. Okay, so by including interval training, you're actually going to, again, time, right? None of us have time, so how do we get the most out of our time? Here, once again, 2 groups trained 3 times a week for 6 weeks. Okay, interval training, 4 to 6. They did, so basically 30-second intervals. Okay, they did 4 to 6 30-second intervals, and then they took 4 minutes off. So they'd go hard for 30 seconds, and then they'd recover for a full 4 minutes. Okay, steady state endurance training, they just went 30 to 60 minutes, 65% VO2 max. You guys following me? Yeah? I won't bore you too long with all the research. This is just shows you. But fat loss was 114% more with the interval training than the steady state. Okay, so again, 114% more, okay, when they did interval training rather than steady state. So step 2, we want to think short bursts when it comes to doing our cardio. Okay, so we're going to be increasing our basal metabolic rate with strength training. That's number 1. Number 2, cardio. Okay, so we're not going to be doing steady state aerobic cardio. Instead, we're going to be including intervals. Okay, so if you guys are getting out to do your workouts, I just want you to be able to do them effectively, right, to be able to use your time effectively to get the best results. So at the gym, we use heart rate monitors. That allows us to know exactly how hard we're working and if we're recovered to go again. So really, scientifically making sure that our interval training is happening, because our clients are short on time, they don't have a lot of time, we want to make sure that time is used as effectively as possible. So 2 to 3 workouts a week, include those metabolic intervals. So this is the hierarchy of fat loss. I think I can actually wrap it up here and open it up for questions, because this is going to give you guys exactly what you need to do. Okay, number 1, correct nutrition. You got to eat right. You can't out exercise a bad diet. Okay, I'm not going to fool you that you can eat whatever you want. I mean, you guys have heard the claims, eat whatever you want, right? No, we do have to talk about your nutrition. I know you guys have already had people come in and talk to you about nutrition, and you're like, I know, right? The main thing I would tell you with nutrition is make one change at a time. Don't try to completely change everything about your nutrition. Pick one thing. And if you guys all right now think about what's the one thing you could change that would have the biggest impact on your results, you probably know what it is. And I see some smiles. Whether it's, the wine, or it's there's one thing, right? The ice cream at night, or the one thing that you could, there's one thing. Everyone has a smirk. This is hilarious. Anybody want to share their one thing? Sugar. Okay, sugar. So we need to cut back on sugar.
Eating late.
Eating late. Okay, good. So anybody else want to share? Wine. Okay. And so maybe with the wine, okay, so I like wine too, and maybe we're not going to give up our wine, and that's not, realistic, because that's not what we're about. This isn't about us, all right, you're never drinking wine again, because then you're like, forget that. So it's finding, that balance of, okay, well, how can, and so we always try to shoot for the 90% rule, so 10% of my week, I can have some wine, and so really that works out if we're eating 4 or 5 meals a day, which I recommend you do. You want to eat throughout the day to feed that metabolism, that thermic effect of food, right? Then you actually get 3 nights a week you can enjoy your wine, okay? So They're like, that's not enough. And I hear you. I understand. And that's 90%. That's if you want to change your body, okay? If you're looking for change, then yes, 3 to 4 nights a week. We can push it to 4. But if right now you are, like, so let's say we're having wine every night right now, or maybe we're having, okay, every night. Maybe we're just going to cut back to, 2 glasses. Are you with me yet?
Those big 750.
All right, then maybe we just do every other night. Every other night? Maybe we have 1 night a week wine-free. Is anybody with me on that? All right, 1 night a week. And that's really what it's about when it comes to nutrition is let's find where you're at and let's find, let's make a baby step, right? And let's conquer that step. Let's conquer that, every Sunday night I'm not going to have wine so that I can start my week, feeling good and I had a Sunday night with no wine. Yeah? All right, I'm getting nods. Huh? Maybe I would say 2 more times. Sunday. Huh? Sundays, no drinking. Yeah. But that's up for you. And you guys have to, and that's where, when you have a coach and you're trying to figure out, but that's the goal is with the nutrition. I don't necessarily want you guys to completely, all right, I'm going to do this crazy diet, because if you just switch to some, plan for, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is, you're probably going to end up going back to your wine, right? And then it's like, if you guys have ever done, how many of you have done like a strict diet? Probably all of us. We're all success-minded people. We all get focused and motivated at some point in our life, right? And we're like, I'm doing it all hardcore, and I'm just going to, I can do this, right? Some like crazy shake fast or whatever it might be, right? And you go hardcore for, a certain period of time. Maybe it's 8 weeks, maybe it's 12 weeks, and then pretty soon you find yourself like, in a box of donuts, right? And you're like, what happened? So that's not really what it's about, okay? So when it comes to nutrition, and I wasn't going to talk about nutrition, but really I'm looking for baby steps. Like, let's find one small change we can make this week. Let's commit to it. Let's master it. And then let's look for another small change, okay? So that way, over time, we're making all of these small changes. And it's another great book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's the compound effect, okay? So then those small changes, now a year later, you look back and you go, wow, not having that wine once a week has actually, I've actually dropped a couple pounds. I actually feel a little better. My week's actually been a little more productive because I started off feeling good. And then when you start to associate those good feelings, then you're like, well, maybe I could do 2 nights, right? And then it slowly compounds. So that's all I'm going to say about nutrition. But correct nutrition is absolutely part of the equation. You have to do that. Number 3 on the hierarchy, activities that burn calories but maintain or promote muscle mass and elevate metabolism. Okay, so that's number 1. If you only have 2 hours a week or you only have 3 hours a week, you've got to do something to build muscle, build your metabolism, and you're going to get the cardiovascular benefits if you're doing it circuit style, where you're going to get that interval training response, and you can basically get the most bang for your buck. And that's really what we look for at Results Fitness. So all of our programs are full body. Most of our clients train 2 to 3 days a week. And it's really looking for how much can we get done in that short period of time and really get the most out of it. And that's really what that's about. So that should be number 1, strength training. So if you have 2 to 3 hours a week, that's all you're doing. Okay. Now, if you have 4 to 5 hours a week, we can add in 2 to 3 metabolic interval workouts. So these are going to be more, maybe you are doing sprints on a treadmill, or you're doing hill climbs. Maybe you're hiking up some stairs, or like we actually use the heart rate monitors where we use ropes and different fun things, medicine balls. So those are to get your heart rate up and really get that interval training response. Okay, so that's going to be next on the hierarchy. And then last is going to be aerobics. So if we have more time, or if we enjoy it, or we just want to go, go out for a run, or it's just something that's maybe, it clears your head. I know I like to go out for a run, and sometimes it's just my meditation, right? So I'm not saying never do it. I'm just saying be careful that it doesn't become the priority of your exercise program. Does that make sense? So when you're limited on time, we hit that strength training first to get the biggest bang for our buck. So I'll go ahead and open it up for questions, because it is 12 o'clock. Even though there's a long talk, but I think we'll be here. So, because my team all tell me I have squirrels, like you guys have seen the movie Up, right?
Squirrel.
Yeah. Squirrel. Yes, Mike.
How important is it to space out your workouts, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or just nail it all, Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
So recovery, you get your results from your recovery, not from your actual workout. So great question. So we want to make sure you recover from the workout, okay? Because the actual workout, you're actually breaking down muscle tissue. So that's actually what's happening during that workout, during a strength training workout. So right after, we want to make sure you get some nutrition in. We want to make sure you're replacing the glycogen and everything that you just burned up, and that way you can start to build those muscles back up. And we want to give it at least 24 hours before you do something again. And with strength training, what we've seen is you can get away with 2 days in a row, but I wouldn't do that third day in a row. So if your schedule's like maybe you're going on, you're traveling this weekend or something's crazy, then I'd go 2 days in a row, day off. If you can squeeze one more day in, then maybe you have 2 or 3 days off. But 2 days is the max. Ideally, you're doing like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so that way your body's getting that full recovery between each workout. Because then you can hit it hard, the next workout, basically. Does that make sense? So, yes.
I'm like an all or nothing kind of.
Okay, I hear you.
So, like I can't just do 2 workouts in a row and then take a day off or 2 days off.
So you want to do something.
Day.
Yeah.
So would it be better to do like 2 strength trainings and then do like a cardio and then go back to strength training?
I'd probably alternate. I'd probably go,
Every other
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, strength, and then do your intervals, like 2 days a week. So maybe on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then maybe Saturday you go for a hike, So I would space it out. And just, beware, that maybe decrease the intensity on some of your workouts. So if you are doing, for recovery is the idea. So if you are doing, an aerobics workout, the goal is not always, I know it's all or nothing. It's not always all or nothing, because what you'll notice is you'll actually recover better. You'll be able to work out harder that next workout. And that's the key is, it's basically if you are trying to hit it hard, it's just like work. If we're trying to go, you're trying to work, you're trying to be productive, for 60 hours a week, it starts to not be so productive, right? We start to decrease our production, whereas if we actually work less, focused, and really get stuff done in a short period of time, you can actually get so much more done, right, than you can if you're working long hours. You guys know that? So it's the same idea with, with training is, so sometimes we think more is better, but really quality, not quantity. So that's what we're looking for is the quality. Just like with when we're working, when we're being productive, we want to make sure we have that quality time that we're getting stuff done. Same with your workout, that we want to make sure we're getting that quality. So if you're not getting stronger every workout, if you're not lifting more weight every workout, if you're not able to do more, then we need to look at your recovery. So there are things you want to look at to go, am I recovering? And if not, maybe I need to switch up my schedule and do something a little different. So you should see improvement every workout. Yeah. Yes. Back to the wine.
So if you get up early, do like a 5:30 strength training, do you have a recommendation that early in the morning what would you eat or drink before that strength training workout?
Do you not feel like eating when you wake up?
No.
Okay.
Coffee's good.
Yeah. So have your coffee. And then, we have a shake cafe at our gym, so I would recommend ordering your shake and starting to drink it during your workout so that at least you have something coming in. People that eat breakfast are healthier overall, have better body composition overall, so do not skip breakfast. If there's one meal you're going to skip, if that's your one change you need to make, eat breakfast. Okay? And I know there's a lot of people are getting into intermittent fasting, and that's a whole other conversation, but breakfast, bottom line, if you guys should eat, absolutely that's eat breakfast. I don't care what you eat, just eat something. Hopefully not a Pop-Tart, but eat something. But I would, if you make a shake or something, that might be the best. Or just finding something, I always have a bowl of hard-boiled eggs in the fridge. So if you can eat a hard-boiled egg real quick, if that's something you could do with your coffee.
Yeah, I didn't know if that would make that big of a difference.
It will actually. It gives your body something, so that way, your body's not because you've basically been fasting all night long. And so your blood sugar is really low, and so you want to have something to get your blood sugar up. So protein and carbs, like a hard-boiled egg and maybe a banana would be perfect if you were able to do that. And then, absolutely make sure you have something right after your workout. And you should be able to, play with everybody's different. So try it, see how you feel during your workout. Obviously, if you end up feeling like your stomach doesn't feel good or your workout's not as good, then it didn't work. Let's try something different. Maybe, I like to do, I'll make a shake and drink half of it before and during my workout, and then finish the second half at the end. So, because that digests real easy, and it's, then I have fuel coming in, my body has what it needs, and and I feel good, and I'm able to recover.
So post-workout, protein, just a shake? If you can't eat something after?
Yeah, actually a shake's better post-workout because it digests faster.
Okay.
So yeah, there's basically a window right after your workout, about a 15, we call it like the alligator mouth, 15-minute window. So you finish your workout, and the alligator mouth is closing. So the sooner you get it in, like it's wide open, your cells basically, and your muscle cells are wide open, okay? So they're wide open, wanting nutrients. So anything right after that workout that you take in is going to go towards glycogen in your muscles. It's not going to get stored as fat. Now, I say that, but I had a client once who took that and said, great, I'm going to go stop by Stonefire Grill every day after my workout and get one of those huge pieces of carrot cake.
Oh.
And yeah, I was like, why are you losing fat? And then I started realizing, he was like, well, you said after my workout I can, you know, anything, it will go straight to my muscles. And I'm like, okay. So I say that, but don't take that, you know, like, yes, a shake is best because it'll get in fast. It's already digested. And then it'll go straight to your muscles to refuel that glycogen, and you'll have better recovery. And then when you have better recovery, now you're going to have a better workout the next time you work out, right? So then it compound effect again, right? Back in effect. Does that make sense? So protein powder and some kind of usually fruit, you know. Again, you could do like a banana, or you could do some kind of smoothie is the best, the easiest. Yeah. Yes.
I've always heard that people that work out at night are healthier because they don't eat a bunch of crap at night. Is that true, or is there some scientific backing for night versus morning? I always want to pass out after work.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
is there
Honestly,
a difference?
it's more what's best for you. You know, I think that is a habit change. You know, that's a good, like if someone does have a habit of, you know, drinking wine or eating ice cream or whatever it is at night, and instead they go to work out, obviously that's going to make a big difference for them. I've never seen it in the research that that's, you know, a better time to work out. Part of the research that you're probably referring to is because your body is warmer later in the afternoon. So sometimes, you know, I think something did show something about, you know, body temperature is basically at a better, you're at a peak body temperature in order to do your workout more, you know, effectively. But, you know, I think actually morning works great, but I'm a morning person. So it's just really what works for you. I think it's when are you going to do it. I find with our clients, they actually are, we're much busier in the morning than we are in the afternoon. And I really feel like if you get it done in the morning, it kind of sets your mindset for the day. You know, now you're going to eat a little better. You're going to, you know, take care of yourself and do everything, you know, where in the evening, the excuses start to creep up as the day goes on. And so you may or may not actually do the workout, you know, if it's at the end of your day. But I could see a case where if there are people that, you know, are really trying to make a shift, maybe they just have some, you know, like it is, you want to go to bed early. And that's one of the things, the downsides of working out at night is that sometimes you end up wired, so then you can't fall asleep. And sleep is like, when it comes to your health, if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering from your workouts, your body's not regenerating from everything. That's like sleep. I mean, if there's one thing you can do, it's really work on, you know, how can I sleep better? Honestly, you know, that's so important. So make your room dark, do whatever, you know, cold, do whatever you need to do to get a good night's sleep. So if you do a workout and it affects your sleep, that would actually be detrimental to your health. So I would actually say, you know, it really depends on the person. So if you find, I know you're a morning workouter, that works for you, then I think, you know, it's just up to the person. So any other questions? Yes?
When you say workout, is there a period of time? Is it has to be an hour, half an hour? I mean, like strength training.
Yeah, so strength training we found, you know, really because we found an hour works best. No longer than an hour. So because your cortisol level, so cortisol is your stress hormone, and as you are working out, your cortisol levels will start to increase. And so if you work out for longer than an hour, then those cortisol levels, to blunt those cortisol levels, you know, you would need to take in some nutrition, but we really try to get those workouts done within an hour. Because it takes about 10 minutes to get the body warmed up, okay? And then from there, we usually, because what we include is some power development, okay? So we talked about explosive exercises, 5 to 10 minutes of power development. Then we're going to do some core training exercises. So we're going to make sure we include that 5 to 10 minutes. And then it's going to take us about 30 minutes to get the basic movements done. So squatting, pressing, pushing, pulling, twisting. And so to pack everything in that we like to pack into a workout, we do take an hour. And we like it, you know, we like it to stay under an hour. So depending on how often you're working out and what you're doing, but that would be my recommendation. I mean, you could probably get it done in 30 minutes. It's going to be a lot shorter. But we've never done 30-minute workouts because of that reason. We've always felt like, you know, we want to make sure that our clients are coming in only 2 to 3 days a week, that we really make sure we do everything that they need to do in order to improve their fitness. And so I'd say an hour. Is it because you don't have a lot of time, and so you're trying to figure out how you can fit it into your schedule?
Well, no, I mean, at the gym, I could see it. When you're at home,
Yeah.
if you're doing it at home, you know, it may. I would tend to do it less.
Yeah.
Less time. That's all.
Yeah.
But getting out of the house to an actual gym, an hour makes sense, I guess. Just trying to gauge on because anything. I mean, if you're saying anything less than that is maybe not effective. I mean, does it have to be to get the results and be effective?
One push-up's better than no push-up.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to the wine conversation. Like, if it's something, then it's better than nothing. You know, so whatever you can do to get started. I do find people that work out in their homes. It depends on your situation, but if I like go to the gym, like make it really get it make it a priority, and commit to it. Yeah, so that it's a true priority. But some people have some amazing home gyms, so I can't say that. I know that there's some great workouts at home, but I mean, and part of it is the culture and the support too. Like having that culture and that support. So,
Awesome.
yeah. So we do have a seminar tonight at our gym, and these are flyers for that. If you guys are interested, we're actually our next 8-week program is kicking off. It's a drop 2 sizes in 8 weeks. So if anybody's interested in dropping 2 sizes in 8 weeks, that's kicking off tonight. I'm giving a seminar on a different seminar. So if you guys are interested, it's 7 o'clock tonight.
Pass them back when you're done.
Come on in. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'd love to see you guys all there. So anything else?
Any other questions?
I have one question. On the burst, like for cardio days, is it like any length of time? Like let's say for treadmill, right? For burst, you're doing like do the run for like.
Right.
Is it just like personally whatever I feel like until I'm kind of maxed out and go back to the walk?
It's going to be 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
If you have a heart rate monitor, that's going to be your best bet. You're going to shoot to get over 85% max heart rate. Okay. So the great part is the heart rate monitor will really individualize your workout. So if you guys don't currently use a heart rate monitor, I would recommend thinking about getting one. Again, you guys are all busy, okay? So let's make sure when we clock in to do our workout, we're going to make sure it's effective. So if you have a heart rate monitor on, you're reaching that intensity that you need to reach, and so you'll know you're at 85% of max.
I'm sorry, for how long?
So 85%. I want you to so once you hit 85% of max, then you can start to recover. So it's going to take you 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. The worse shape you're in, the faster you're going to get there. Okay, so like, yeah, you're like, woo, I'm there. Okay, that's good.
Pretty embarrassing in the class when you go red first.
And then the better shape you're in, it could be 2 minutes, right? You're like, I'm going, and you're pushing, and so that could take you, and it sucks, right? The more shape you're in, actually, because then you have to, really work to get your heart rate up to the max that you need to get it to. Then you let it recover, okay, all the way down to below 70%, and then you go again. So that would be true interval training. That would be what I would say would be the most effective and the best way to do that. You can do for time. You could do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, that kind of thing. But to truly know for your individual, that's why we like to use the heart rate monitors, because then, we have clients that have been clients 17 years, so they've been working out with us for a long time, and then we have clients who are pretty new, and so they don't necessarily should do the same workout. They should do different workouts. So that way it's individualized, and that way, you're getting the best for your body and what you need.
Awesome.
Sure.
Can you stay around a little bit?
Absolutely.
To answer some questions? Yeah. All right, you guys, honestly, she's awesome, huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so stay around. We'll do the drawing in just a few minutes.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, so sit over there if you want, and then touch bases on a couple things. Next week, I want to start promoting our guest speaker. The last couple weeks are the most amazing. So next week, somehow, some way, I've convinced Joyce Essex to come up here from Beverly Hills and talk to you guys. If you don't know who she is, Google her. She is one of the top female agents in the world. She makes millions of dollars a year, and she's going to come to our teeny little office and talk to us. Okay? What she says is mind-blowing. I've shared many stages with her across the country and been on panels with her, and she's always amazing. So write that down. Do not screw up next week. I promise you, you will. Oh, and write down, we're going to start a half an hour early because she's so busy we had to move our schedule around her. Okay? This girl sells hundreds of homes a year, you guys. Like, It's a really big deal to have her come up here. So we're going to start on time at 10:30, so I would imagine getting here by 10:15. Joyce Essex. She's just an inspirational, unbelievable human being to start with, and then to add that she's in our industry is mind-blowing. She runs a very large team. She runs a very successful brokerage, and if you look at her numbers, you'll crap yourself. That's all I can say about that. Yes, Cindy. I think I'm going to do that after she leaves next week. We'll have another. We'll get done with her. She has to leave before 12, so then we'll probably tap onto some of that. And I have a few more follow-up meetings this week. I can start by saying, here's how I'll finish up what I found out. You guys know banks have foreclosures all over the country, right? The average asset manager handles 800 to 1,000 properties at a time that are in foreclosure. In escrow. So they might have pools of 2,000, 3,000, depending on how big the institution is, whatever. But there's a very common thing going across to all of them. And I spoke to all the hedge funds. I spoke to all the banks, the big banks, the little banks. The asset managers are down about 50% on their portfolios. And what that means is they went from 800 to 1,000 escrows. Now they're down to 400 or 500, meaning that people aren't buying these anymore. So it's a direct indication of a market turn, and it's very, very rapid. It's not something, and the only reason we don't hear about it is because we're thankful to be in Southern California, so it's not as bad. But the Southern California numbers are mind-blowing too on what they're building up and what they can't sell and what's happening. So the fact that I've been over the last couple of months preparing you for a market turn, it's very real, and it's here, and now we can statistically prove it before the media gets a hold of it. Once the media gets a hold of it, there's no stopping it, you guys. So we're going to prepare a lot for default. We're going to prepare price reduction dialogues, scripts and dialogues. We're going to be working on things that some of you maybe never even dreamt of working on. But I want you guys prepared because I don't want anybody getting out of this business. Fair enough? All right. Carolyn and Don, do you want to say anything for 30 seconds?